everybody, Zudoragi here, coming to another video review. And today, as you can see, we've got a big one. The 1 to 100th scale Master Grade Sazabi version Ka, or version Katoki. From Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack, the movie. Here you can see his size compared to a soda can. It is way down there, barely just above his knees. This guy is big. I do have a bigger model to review later, but you'll have to wait a couple days to see that. But as you can see, here is the Sazabi version Ka, Katoki, whatever. A very, very large model. As for colors, it's sort of what we've come to expect of the Char colors. Medium red, light red, dark red, a sort of cherry red, black, and dark gray. There's also silver, yellow, and a few clear parts. And the silver will become a lot more visible later. This guy is kind of hard to pan around. He's a very hefty model, that's for sure. Now for the posability, and it's going to be an interesting time to try and figure this all out, because this is probably the biggest model I've reviewed so far. So, to just get right into it, his head has several ball joints, can move up and down just a little bit, as well as back and forth, but due to his big ol' head crest on the back, all you can really do is move or turn side to side. That's about most you're going to get out of it. Arms can move back and forth of the body, just a little bit. Up and down of the body, rotate all the way around. Shoulder armor can move up and down. This little thruster panel can move up and down. Arms can move out to the side that far, rotate all the way around just below the shoulder, bend at 2 joints in the elbow, with some nice mechanical detail in there. Oops. The hands have ball joints up here, and so they can move all around. They've also got the same finger setup as the RX-78 version 3.0. Fully articulated fingers with multiple hinges and ball joints. And this little tab inside the hand for the equipment, so you can pretty much get any kind of pose you need, including the Zion, or whatever it was they said in the original Japanese version. Remember in the English version they said Hail Zion. Whatever. For the backpack, the binders can move side to side and up and down. The fuel tanks are on ball joints and can pretty much move all over the place. The waist can tilt back and forth, side to side, and rotate really well for how big and bulky this model is. Front skirts can move anywhere you want. Same with the side skirts. Back skirt is all one piece, but moves pretty well. Legs are on ball joints, so they can move forward that far, back that far. They can only move out to the side that far, and they can rotate just a bit. Legs bend at 2 joints in the knee, and have, again, really good arm movement. For some reason I like this little hollow bit there. There's even arm movement in the back, kind of. Because when you bend the knee, that little bit of armor disappears. Oop, no, you stay in place. The foot is on a series of ball joints, back and forth, rotate, tilt. And the foot also has a large number of moving joints inside. This heel piece, the back of the foot piece, front of the foot, and the toe. These can all move basically anywhere you need, and at least from my experience, they hold poses pretty well. This guy is a big and bulky model, and he has some pretty stiff joints to go with it. They're not stiff, but once you put it into a pose, unless you move it, he's generally not going to go anywhere. Except the legs. The ball joints are rather loose on that, and so they tend to droop over time. But that's really my only complaint with the posability. Now, before we move on to the accessories, I want to cover the weird sort of pseudo-transformation this guy has. Based on my best guesses, since I've never actually seen Char's counterattack, this is sort of like the destroy mode. This is sort of like the destroy mode the Unicorn Gundam has, because like the Unicorn Gundam, it has a full Psycho frame, but I could just be an idiot there. So for this weird little transformation, first thing you're going to want to do is come up here to the head, take this panel, pull it out and up, and when you get it out enough, which takes a little bit more doing than you'd think, you can fold it up and then take off the back of the head, fold down the visor. Now, if you've noticed, I don't have the little sticker on the visor, and that's because it's a water transfer decal, and I can never seem to make those work. Anyway, next, for the shoulders, take these big panels and just swing them out. You want to swing all the way out like that. Sorry about the sudden interruption. The thruster bells inside the shoulders decided to come off, which was annoying. Anyway, next thing you want to do is come over here. There are thrusters inside here. Swing them down, just kind of maneuver them, and they'll fold out this panel. Same thing on this side. Just come on, like, come on, that. Take this panel, swing it up, push this down. No, it already was down, technically. But that's all of that really gets exposed. On the backs of the arms, I'm gonna have to angle this down. There are red panels here. You want to pull them out to the side. Takes quite a bit of force to do, but you have to get just the right amount of force, otherwise the panels are just going to come right off. But just fold those out and splay them out like that. Do the same on the other side real quick. Maybe. I need to stop saying real quick, because every time I say that, it takes about 10 minutes. 10 minutes and a lot of curse words. For the front skirts, just take this panel and swing it out to the side. Same thing over here, exposes more inner detail. Come to the side skirt and just take this panel, swing it out, and then swing the thrusters in there down. You can get it just like that. Same thing on this side. Swing the thrusters down just a bit, and then pull the panel down the rest of the way. The big side skirts are a little more interesting. Or the big back skirt is a little more interesting. To get you a clear shot, you have to pull on this side section. You have to pull it away from the big red section in the middle, and then pull on the big red section in the middle to fully extend it. And that gives you a lot more detail. You can also take these thrusters and swing them up, because this guy doesn't have enough thrusters already. Take these kneecaps, pull them out, maybe. They don't really sit up all that well. I sometimes like to go back in, but there you go. I need to angle the camera down further for this next part. Take this section, pull it down, fold this panel out. It exposes yet more thrusters. Same thing over here. Down and out. Doing the backs of the legs is where things start to get really weird. And I want to actually try and get the camera level with the legs this time. You're going to just spread the legs a lot. Take this inner thigh section and swing it out on both sides. Once you get it swung out, you can put the legs back together a little bit. Take this thigh section, swing it out, and out. And there's a panel in here you're going to need to readjust just a little bit. Then take this panel, you need to kind of swing it out over this silver piece and then pull it down to fully extend it to, yes, expose even more thrusters. Oh, his legs are swaying. I think this is probably one of the main reasons he doesn't have the full hinged legs of most models, since if he did, he'd never stand up. But after you do just a little bit of finagling and get the armor pieces back where they're supposed to be, there you have the Sazabi in its destroy mode? Psycho mode? What do you even call this? I think maybe it says it in the instructions, but I didn't see it anywhere. Or if I did, it was in Japanese, but this is its advanced mode. I'm going with destroy mode since it's similar to what the Unicorn Gundam does. As you can see, he now looks a lot bigger. and that all that red and black is broken up by a lot of dark gray and silver, and it looks really cool, but oh, it's a chore to get it there. So I'm going to transform this guy back into the regular Sazabi, and then we will move on to the accessories. Now, finally, the accessories. So let's start off a little bit simple. His two beam sabers, mostly just red plastic, or actually no, completely red plastic. Comes with two clear yellowy green beams. Lots of fine detail on them. Tab, slot, done. Like with the RX-78 version 3.0, he has this 2-tab equipping system. There's a tab in there you have to fold out. And there's another tab in on his hand you have to fold out. But to get to it, you have to open up his fingers. Because this guy is so big, it's kind of hard for you to see his fingers. So, just open that up. And there is a tab right there in the palm of his hand. You have to get that open. Then just put the two tabs together. You kind of have to maneuver things around since he's got such big cuffs. Why a mobile suit would need such extravagant cuffs, I have no idea, but this is Shar we're talking about, so he's a bit strange. But there is the Sazabi with the beam saber equipped, and it's not going to go anywhere unless you make it. And even then, it might not want to. Of course, the weapon can be stored on him. There are big slots there in his wrists, right here. Just push the beam saber in. Might not always go in the first time. You have to make sure everything's lined up just right. If any little thing is out of place, it's not going to go in. For such a big, bulky model, it's surprisingly finicky. And I think I just broke it again. Whatever. Anyway, he can still use the beam sabers like that. Just stick the beam in there. Naturally, this works for both beam sabers. He's also got all 6 of his funnels. Which look kind of like beer kegs in this form. They're very well detailed. As you can see, they're very well detailed. You can get them into their open form simply by pushing in on the thruster here. And when you do that, the barrel up there will extend. Not much you can do beyond that, so just push the barrel back in, then fold up these panels. They can, of course, be stored on him. He has these binders back here to open them up to store the funnels. Take this panel, or this whole section, bring it up, swing out these panels, and then take these silver panels and swing them out. You can see there are a series of pegs in there. Just mount the funnels onto those pegs. And of course, just close up these silver panels here. Close up the black panels, push everything down. Or you can just skip the middleman and just drop them straight into there. A little less visually interesting, but quicker to do. Still produces the same effect, the funnels being stored. He also comes with 2 beam rifles. At least I'm assuming they're both beam rifles. First, he has this long beam rifle, mostly medium gray plastic with a little bit of red. And yes, as you will notice, the tab that goes in here is gone. I lost it while I was building him. Doesn't bother me too terribly much. And you may also notice that he has this clip that can come down, and this panel here will come off. That is because you can actually take the add-on weaponry from the Master Grade Sinanju and put it onto this gun, including the scope up here. But that's really all there is to that. The front sight here can lift up. You can equip the weapon, not too terribly difficult. Again, tab, or hole onto tab, or slot onto tab. Only issue is that this weapon requires a bit more interesting positions to get him to actually equip it, since it's such a long butted weapon. But fortunately, that's one of the reasons his hand has that little joint there. I usually just resort to taking the hand off the model and putting the weapon in that way before mounting it. With this model, it seems to be the best way to do things, but like I said, just tab, slot, get the thumb out of the way. Tab and slot, just put them together. Unfortunately, it's not the most secure connection since the other tab in there is gone. But it works, kind of. That's sort of what it would look like. I don't like this weapon. It's very hard to get him to use it. You can't store it anywhere either, so if you're not going to have him equipping it, just toss it to the side. He's also got what I think is just a beam shotgun. Mostly black, a few bits of red. The trigger can move, or the grip can move, and then this panel here can slide back and forth, which is what makes me think it's a shotgun. Plus there's no sights. Comes with a removable magazine. Just load it into the bottom there. Now this one actually does have its little mounting clip. And of course, just like before, just get it into the hand. You're going to need to extend the trigger finger a little bit to get it into where the trigger is. Just put the 2 tabs together. And there he is with this weapon equipped. And again, there's nowhere to store it, so all you're really left with is the choice of either having the weapon put in a baggie somewhere, or with him not using it at all. There he is with that weapon on. Kind of. He also comes with twin beam axes, which you can see here. Mostly dark gray with a little bit of black. He comes with various beam blades. He comes with a short one that can go in. Or a long one that can be used. Getting him to equip these weapons is rather interesting, like with the beam sabers. You, of course, first have to get the hands splayed out. And then get those equipment tabs out. And there is a big slot right there. You can just put onto that tab. Doesn't hold it perfectly, but it does the job. You close the hand, it'll do it even better. You've also got this hinged part with the two pegs on top, and you can mount the two blades on either end like that, giving you a double-ended beam axe. You can rotate it either way, give it one long blade and a short blade, or two short blades, or two long blades, or whichever which way. Again, he's got just little slots right there. Just drop it into his hand. Nice and simple like that. Or you can swing these blades up and then fuse them into one to get a very big and bulky axe. Again, can equip the same way, just put the tab on. Makes his hand a whole lot heavier though. An added effect An added effect of putting it like this is there is a slot up there you can take the beam saber blades and drop them into. And now you've got that, as if it didn't glow enough already. And then finally you have the biggest piece of accessories for this guy, the shield. And you may notice it is rather plain. That is because all of the stickers, aside from these accent red ones, are all water slide, and I can't seem to make those work worth a damn. So, this is what you're getting. A big piece with black, multiple shades of red, yellow, and dark gray. It's got a hinge that moves up and down here, along with this piece that moves in and out like that. It can be equipped to the arm on one of these various joints on the back of the forearm. you've got this joint or this joint, which can be used to equip. So for example, you can just toss this right there. Looks pretty good. This joint also allows you to slide it forward, so if you want it on the side of the arm rather than there on the back, you can do that. Okay, sorry for the interruption. I seem to have forgotten what this little clip is for, but you can also use this clip just to clip it into any of those hard points on the back. You can also store the axes on this weapon, or on the shield. Just take this panel and lift it up. There are a series of slots along here. You just put this on like that and press it in. Then fold that down and it locks it in place. You can use the beam effect parts and everything on here, but it bends it out of place. And then down here you can attach some missiles. Just because. And that does it for my review of the 1 to 100th scale Master Grade Sazabi from Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack, the movie. This was a much more painful review than I had anticipated. Get this guy if you love the Sazabi, or if you want it as a collector piece. Otherwise, stay the hell away from this thing and just stick with the original Master Grade, I think. Bye.